Ever heard of the man who tried to budget his finances and ended up buying 3 goats instead of a car? Yes, you heard it right, 3 goats. This fella, let's call him Daniel, was a simple man with a simple plan. Save money, buy a car. But oh, how things took a turn. Daniel, you see, wasn't too clued up on the basics of budgeting. He thought he'd nailed it by cutting corners on his expenses. But instead of cruising down the highway in a shiny new ride, he found himself herding goats down a country lane. His mistake was a classic one. He confused the cost of living with the cost of wants. He saved where he should have spent and spent where he should have saved. A mishap indeed, but one we can all learn from. Now, we wouldn't want you to end up with a herd of livestock when you're aiming for a shiny new car, would we? So, what exactly is this 50-30-20 rule that could have saved our goat-loving friend from his predicament? Well, let's break it down. The 50-30-20 rule is a straightforward yet powerful approach to managing your finances. It's like a roadmap for your money, guiding you on how to allocate your income in a way that's balanced, sustainable, and geared towards financial health. Imagine your income as a big, juicy pie. According to the 50-30-20 rule, you slice this pie into 3 distinct pieces. The first and largest slice, making up 50% of your pie, is dedicated to your needs. This includes your basic living expenses such as rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, health insurance, and transportation. These are the non-negotiables, the costs you must cover to keep the lights on, the fridge stocked, and the car running. Next, we have the 30% slice, which is earmarked for your wants. This is where the fun stuff comes in, like dining out, vacations, and yes, even that shiny new gadget you've been eyeing. It's your reward for working hard, a chance to enjoy the fruits of your labor. But remember, it's only 30% of your pie, so spend wisely. The final slice, 20%, is your savings or debt repayment. This is your ticket to financial freedom. Whether you're stashing away money for a rainy day, investing for the future, or paying down debt, this 20% is all about securing your financial future. So there you have it. The 50-30-20 rule in a nutshell. It's about balancing the present with the future, needs with wants, and spending with saving. It's about taking control of your money, rather than letting your money control you. Simple, isn't it? But how does one go about implementing it? Keep watching. First up, let's talk about the big 50, your needs. Now, we all have a different definition of needs, right? Some of us think a morning latte is a need, while for others it's just a want. But in the land of budgeting, we've got to set some ground rules. When we say needs, we're talking about the essentials, the things that keep your world spinning. These are your housing costs. That's your rent or mortgage. Then there's groceries. You've got to eat, right? Utilities are another big one, keeping the lights on, the water running, and the house warm. Of course, don't forget transportation, whether that's your car payment or public transit fare. And let's not forget health insurance and minimum payments on debts. Those are must-haves too. Now here's where it gets interesting. We're going to calculate 50% of your income. But don't worry, you don't need a math degree for this. Just take your total income. That's every penny you bring home after taxes and divide it by 2. Simple, right? Let's say you bring home $4,000 a month. Divide that by 2 and you've got $2,000. That's your budget for your needs. Now, if you're spending more than this on your needs, it might be time to make some adjustments. Maybe you shop around for cheaper insurance or cut back on electricity usage to lower your utility bills. And if you're spending less than this, well, good for you. You've got some wiggle room. But remember, this doesn't mean you should go splurging on those wants. It might be a good idea to put that extra money towards your savings or debt repayment, but we'll get to that later. So that's the rundown on the Big 50. It's all about covering your basic needs without breaking the bank. Remember, needs are obligations, not options. They're the things you can't do without. So let's keep our eyes on the prize and make sure we're taking care of these first and foremost. After all, you can't build a strong financial future on a shaky foundation. Now onto the fun part, the 30% that goes to your wants. Yes, you heard that right. This is where your budgeting journey takes a detour into the realm of desires and indulgences. This is where you get to spend on those delightful little things that make life a little more enjoyable. Now let's break down what wants really are. Wants are those things that you fancy but can live without. Think about dining out at that fancy restaurant downtown or that vacation you've been daydreaming about. It could be that designer handbag that caught your eye or the latest smartphone. Perhaps it's that gym membership you've been considering or those concert tickets you've been itching to buy. Essentially, wants are anything that's not a basic necessity, but something that brings you joy, enhances your lifestyle, or just makes life a little bit sweeter. So how do you determine that magical 30% of your income that goes into your wants? Well, it's simple math, really. Once you've calculated your after-tax income, just take 30% of it. Say, for instance, if your after-tax income is $10,000 a month, your wants budget would be $3,000. It's as simple as that. Now here's the tricky part. It's easy to get carried away when it comes to our wants. After all, who doesn't love a bit of indulgence? But remember, this is not a free pass to go on a spending spree. It's crucial to exercise restraint and ensure that you are not overspending on your wants. When it comes to managing your wants, think of it as a diet. You want to enjoy that slice of cake, but you also don't want to overdo it. It's all about balance. Just as you wouldn't want to consume all your calories from dessert alone, you wouldn't want to blow all your money on wants alone. Wants are the little treats you give yourself. But remember, moderation is key. After all, the goal here is not just to enjoy the present, but also to secure a comfortable future. So, go on, treat yourself, but do so mindfully. Finally, we arrive at the last piece of our budgeting pie, the 20% that goes towards savings or debt repayment. So you've taken care of your needs and wants, and now you're left with the final fifth of your income. This isn't the piece you grudgingly set aside, rather, it's the portion that propels you towards a future of financial security and peace. Let's break this down. This 20% can be allocated towards savings or paying off debt, or a combination of both. If you're in the fortunate position of not having any debt, congratulations. You've got a full fifth of your income to funnel into savings. But wait, don't just stash it under your mattress. Consider investing it wisely, like in a retirement account or other investment vehicles that can give you a return over time. Remember, it's not about how much money you have, but how you use it that counts. Now, if you're carrying some form of debt, it's like having a leak in your wallet. The longer you ignore it, the more it drains your resources. So it's crucial to use part of this 20% to plug that leak. Prioritize paying off high-interest debts first, as they tend to grow faster than a weed in a garden. But don't forget about putting a little into savings too, even if it's just a small amount. This can act as an emergency fund and prevent you from sinking further into debt when unexpected expenses come knocking. But what if you find yourself in a situation where your debt is so large that 20% doesn't seem enough to make a dent? Well, in that case, it might be worth revisiting your budget. Maybe some of your wants can be trimmed back for a while, or perhaps there are needs that could be met in a more cost-effective way. Remember, budgeting isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a flexible tool that should be adjusted to meet your unique financial situation. And here's the golden nugget. Consistency is key. Steady, regular savings or debt repayments, no matter how small, can add up to significant amounts over time. This 20% is your ticket to financial security and peace of mind. So there you have it, folks. The 50-30-20 rule in all its glory. Let's take a quick stroll down memory lane. We've covered the ins and outs of this budgeting rule, which is as simple as it is effective. 50% of your income, remember, goes toward your needs, those non-negotiables like housing, groceries, and utilities. Then, we've got 30% for your wants. That's right, you're allowed to spend on those little luxuries. Just remember to keep it within the limit. And finally, the last 20% is for savings or paying off debts. That's your ticket to financial stability and peace of mind. This rule is a tool, a guide to help you manage your money wisely. And with practice, you'll master it in no time. Remember, budgeting is not about depriving yourself. It's about making your money work for you. And with the 50-30-20 rule, you're well on your way to becoming a master. Thank you for watching today's video. Subscribe and like, and we'll see you guys in the next one.